This story might be TMI, so viewer discretion advised here.
Weird night. Like, I don't know what else to say.
I think there's a movie about that. I don't want to implicate too many people, but I was in a plane crash.
Frolicking in a fountain.
I like that.
Is how it was described to me.
It's frowned upon at corporate getaways.
All college guys smell the same. They all.
I'm over it.
Yep.
It's not sexy anymore. We're dedicated, but not that dedicated.
That's just
Sorry, you're right. You're right. I'm wrong. You know, here.
smash that like button.
Smash that like. Do you regret that decision?
So, yeah, I
Okay, great segment. Well, moving on. Next question.
Welcome to the Mr. and Mrs. Inglis Podcast. I'm Megan.
And I'm Shaen. We're here to talk about the wild ride of raising kids, growing careers, and keeping life together in the middle of all the chaos.
So buckle up, because we're all in this crazy journey together.
TT. Ta-ta.
Tater-tot.
Oh, that's a good one. Maybe that's one I use.
Yeah.
Tater-tot. That's probably a really good one. Nicely done. See if I can remember it next week. All right, welcome everybody.
Welcome.
It is middle of May, and this is episode 19.
Yeah. And when did we get to the middle of May? I mean, obviously 15 days ago, but
Slowly but surely. Yeah. Within the last 2 or 3 days.
I mean, okay, so that's the mathematical answer.
Kind of the way I'd look at it, I guess.
But doesn't it feel like it was just March?
Yeah. I was at the dentist this morning,
Yeah.
as you know, and one of the things we talked about, I don't remember if I told you this because you just got back. You literally just flew back into town.
Right.
And we got to go pick up the kids right after we get done doing this. So it's like, this is the chaos train. I mean, like, it's
Right.
totally true. This is just a little, if you peel back everybody's, you know, what's the term I'm trying to say? If you open everybody's book or you peel back, you pull back everybody's curtain a little bit, this is what you see, right?
This is what you see. Yeah.
We had 40 minutes before we got to go get the kids at school.
Yeah.
Before we got to go to soccer, all that stuff. At the dentist this morning, though, which is something else I fit in, I was telling her, I was like, just another one of those signs of the time that you're getting old. Because not only as you get older, time seems to go fast, right? It's like, gosh, just like you just said, when do we get to May? Time is flying by.
Right.
Well, our kids are starting to say that. Like, our oldest is like, this year just flew by.
Yeah.
And it's not until you get to a certain age that the years actually seem to start going quickly.
Yeah.
And so that is a sign that not only are we getting older, but our kids are getting older too. It's sands of time, man.
I know. It's a little sad. But you know,
Yeah.
you're like, I am grateful to be on this side, right? Like, I'm still upright, still going, but it's still just a little bit sad to be like, why does it keep going faster?
Yeah.
Now, did you hear the theory that multiple kids have shared it with me?
Yeah.
In our house? Yeah, like, maybe we just don't do enough exciting things that slow it down, that help punctuate that time.
Well, I touched base on that just a little bit last week, not even obviously totally separately, but I mean, everything was new then, right? So you're experiencing a lot of new things that you never knew,
Yeah.
right? So the older you get, I think it's the harder to find new experiences, right?
Yeah.
That's why we search out, going on vacations to Europe, why we try to, go find new places to be that we haven't been, the Grand Canyon, like,
Right.
because those are new experiences, going back to the same place or the same spot. That's not as great as that is at times.
Right.
It's not a new experience, which I don't know. There's just something about being somewhere new.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is exciting.
Or just a new smell or a new song, all those new things.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. There's some psychology to how those experiences or big experiences help punctuate time and make it slow down in your own mind.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, it is. Well, I need more big experiences.
Apparently we do.
It's
know.
fine. Well, welcome back, honey. You just landed an hour, maybe and a half ago.
Yeah. So just busy.
Yeah.
How
How does it feel to be important in business?
it's
It's an inside joke.
Total inside joke. Oh, if only I actually was. Yeah, no. But it feels so good to be home. Like you walk in the door and it's just like, oh, I am so glad to be home.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's tough to travel for work, and I think
Well, so many thoughts there.
Yeah.
It's tough having you gone, right? Because through our marriage, I've been the one that's traveled.
yes,
And luckily, I don't travel a lot. I've been
not so much anymore.
Not
but you
so
used
much
to.
anymore. Yeah, once a week or once every other week.
Yeah.
Because I was in charge of my own schedule for the most part.
Yeah.
So I could work around things and whatnot. But yeah, it's different though not having a mom at the house. I mean, the kids are always surprised when dad knows how to use the dishwasher and do stuff like that. You wash dishes too. Like the pancakes we've talked about. I mean, like they're really surprised at how capable fathers are.
Oh yeah.
When mom's not here.
Yeah, you're like, I did take care of myself. Like, you were 28 when we met.
Yeah, that's right.
I adulted.
That's right.
On my own.
That's right.
For, 8 to 10 years
Mhm.
before.
Fed myself, clothed myself, all that stuff.
All that stuff.
All on my own. Yeah.
So glad to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't lost touch with that either.
That's good.
Although you have probably sharpened my skills at some of those things after seeing just how good you are at doing.
Yeah. Well, and maybe that's why I do them is because I am superior, apparently, at doing laundry or the dishes.
Which is why that's all yours.
Yeah.
It's actually not. You actually asked to do the laundry because I said, I am happy to do my laundry if it takes that off your schedule. This was decades ago when we were still kind of figuring out who wants to do what, trying to split, and you said you didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you were fine doing it. You didn't want to give it up.
Right.
Because there's a certain way you like to fold the clothes, there's a certain way you like to hang the clothes, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Comes down to the fact that I am type A.
Do you regret that decision?
So, not usually.
That was a bigger thought than I thought I might get.
No, because I mean, I like doing, I don't say I like doing it, but I like it being done my way. So that is good. So I get some satisfaction. But sometimes it is a hindrance because it's one of those things that, I mean, you are dirtying clothes as you wash them. Like you're wearing clothes, getting them dirtied by just existing in clothes. And so the fact that it is a never-ending, just perpetual cycle sometimes feels annoying.
Yeah. I 100% understand that. And this goes back to, I may have heard this, and this story might be TMI, so viewer discretion advised here. But I know exactly what we hit on. I lived on my own for a long time, and you know this story, but I am type A as well, but I am also a little OCD when it comes to things, somewhere on that spectrum. But when it came to cleaning my house or my condo that I had, it was a 3-bedroom condo that I owned. It was my first real estate that I owned, 3-bedroom condo. I cleaned it every weekend because I'm just a clean freak too. You know that.
Yes.
But I would also make sure all my clothes were cleaned at the same time. So there was one moment in time that everything was clean in my house except for one thing. And that was the pair of boxers that I wore. Because all the clothes went in. To your point, all the clothes went in because the clothes you're wearing are getting dirty.
They're getting dirty.
So I got it down to just one pair of boxers, and that was the only thing that was dirty in the whole house.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I can't do that.
Yeah, life doesn't allow for that to get to that level of efficiency.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't. It
Is
doesn't.
that efficient? I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. It's something though. It is something. I knew someone. She would wear an old prom dress, so something that she would never actually wear, and that's what she wore while she was doing laundry.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I'm never actually gonna wear this, and I'm only wearing it when I'm doing laundry. And she actually wouldn't wear undergarments underneath. And so she was like, so she, in theory, got
Fancy.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she would do her laundry in her old prom dress.
Yeah, which is probably dry clean only, so she couldn't do it anyways.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I have not reached your level or hers for that matter. I do the laundry fully clothed.
Yeah. All right, people, we're back. I had a frog in my throat. Sorry about that. But I was gone so long trying to get rid of that frog, which is not gone, that Megan has lost her thought,
Yes.
which is a rarity. So it must have been a long time and distracting.
Well, I was trying to be like, gosh, you don't get verklempt like that very often. Like you don't get,
Yeah.
that's the wrong word for it. But it's been a long week, people. But you don't get like that very often. And I was like, gosh, are you okay? You're really like coughing on this.
Yeah.
Make sure you're all right.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll survive another day.
Did you catch the COVID while I was gone?
The COVID. I don't think so. Perhaps the measles. I think those are back down here in Texas.
They are.
But I'm vaccinated for that, so don't worry about it. Luckily, we believed in vaccines back then. Plus, I was at the dentist this morning, and they gave me fluoride. And they're too talkative with me, unfortunately, about soccer, because their kids play soccer too. And it's a whole thing if your kids play soccer at this age.
Yeah.
In fact, I spent way more time talking about soccer than my teeth. I mean, like
At the dentist.
20 to 1 times. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is probably pretty rare for you because you usually have to have pretty in-depth discussions about your teeth. But anyway.
Yeah, and that's genetic. Good oral hygiene. We've talked about that before.
Yeah. We'll harken back to our first episode. We both floss.
That's right. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Anyways, I didn't get a chance to ask them. Excuse me again. I didn't get a chance to ask them about fluoride, which is apparently, going to be banned from our water now because it causes brain damage and stuff like that. But that's a political road that we won't go down. But they put it on my teeth. So I wanted to ask you, you're traveling for work.
I could go so many places with that.
I know, we're going to get off the political thing because there's just there's too much I have to say about that kind of stuff. We'll keep it nice. We'll keep everybody friendly here. But what any good stories from this, 48 hours of travel you were on? Because sometimes people that don't travel a lot,
Yeah.
that when they get to travel, they let loose a little bit, maybe more than they should.
Yeah, I don't have any real stories like that. It was all pretty tame. Yeah, I
Okay, great segment. Well, moving on. Next question.
Yeah. It was a very, very chill event, I would say. However, you definitely have some crazy stories.
I don't know that crazy. You might have to remind me of crazy ones. But one of the reasons why your company is so tame now is because there were some events, maybe before your time,
Yeah.
I'm hopeful,
Yes.
that weren't so tame.
Oh my gosh. There was, yes, then they were before my time and I was not there, but the stories.
People losing clothing, getting into fountains.
Yes.
Is this in Vegas?
I don't know where it was,
Okay.
wasn't there. But yeah, there was frolicking in a fountain.
Oh, I like that.
Is
alliteration.
how it was described to me.
It's frowned upon at corporate getaways.
Believe it or not, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Note to people, again,
Yeah.
educational here.
We tend to call those career limiting moves.
CLMs.
CLMs.
That's actually a term. People know CLM.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
Mhm.
So there was the frolicking in the fountain. There are some stories. Again, I haven't been included in those.
People, we've learned that everybody needs to have their own hotel room now. We're not going to share a house together and share bathrooms with our
colleagues.
with our colleagues, our work colleagues.
Yeah.
A lot of bad decisions going on 12, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So I am glad that I'm sitting my wife, who's still very attractive, out amongst the people, and she's got her own hotel room and all this kind of stuff.
Yes.
We're keeping things within the box.
Yes. There's been a lot of changes over the last 15 years but yeah, I mean, people they would tell stories and it was like, holy moly.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. Some people travel a ton. I'm not in a job that I travel much, but yeah, you just hear stories. You were a party, I know, to one of them at yours, and we talk about it, Robegate. This is your story, and you
Oh,
call
I
it
know that
Robegate.
one.
Yeah.
I know that one.
Yeah.
I got to be careful because I'm thinking about things I want to say in this. I mean, this isn't one that we planned on talking about or anything.
Right.
but I don't want to implicate too many people that are still out there in the world living their lives happily. They don't need Shaen
Yeah, that one was pretty
scooping,
bad.
and some of them
Yeah.
are. But that one's, I can probably talk high level enough, and people that are in the know.
Yeah, that's a
Except
totally.
for maybe
You know.
except for maybe one gentleman who maybe his wife doesn't know. So there's the one gentleman, I just don't know if I should go into that one. I mean, needless to say, I have been privy to seeing some people making bad decisions in their marital bliss whilst away from their home, the nest.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say that one. So
Yeah.
that one's a little touchy.
That one is.
But I've seen a CFO of a $1 billion company just trashed out of his mind, trying to give a speech. They try to get him off the stage. He gets back up on, takes the mic. They it's like that long cane that comes across. I mean, like they're escorting this guy off. Yeah, I saw that one. That was an interesting one.
I've never heard this story.
I probably told you about it, but yeah, that's one of the ones where everybody's just like looking at each other, everybody wide-eyed, just looking around the room, going like, "Can you believe what's happening in front of us?"
Oh my god.
As the CFO, I've been privy to a lot of I traveled every other week for 20 years.
Yeah.
All over the country, but never anywhere good either. Because I was in food and ag lending.
Yeah.
I'd fly to generally a nice city, and then I'd drive 2 hours away from it.
Yeah. You were at a lot of conferences, though. I feel like conferences are oftentimes where some of the more crazy stuff can happen.
That's probably true. Yeah. I've been through a lot of fun conferences.
I remember
like New Orleans and
Yeah.
Vegas. Yeah. The funny thing about that is and as maybe it was when we were a little bit younger, because I think the older we get, we probably do mature, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Right. But I do remember talking to you, like, I'm just so surprised at just how loosey-goosey everybody gets when they're out here. And it's usually the people that don't travel that much.
Right.
So for someone like me, traveling is annoyance. I'm over it.
Yep.
It's not sexy anymore.
Right.
When you're in college, you're like, oh, I'm going to get on a plane and go travel for work and stay in a hotel and eat out every night. It's overrated. So overrated.
It is.
Now for a banker like me, I'm just your average poor banker, right? But maybe there's people that are, flying first class everywhere.
Yeah.
They're staying at the Four Seasons. They're having steak dinners every single night. That's a different travel than I did.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, you'd find my receipts with Dairy Queen on them.
Yes.
In fact, I broke my not having ate at McDonald's in probably 12 years for the first time ever in like Greenwood, Mississippi, when my boss was like, "Let's go to McDonald's." I was like, no, that's a seal I hadn't broken in so long.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You're like, I don't want to go to McDonald's.
But you get to see some cool things. You go some cool places. You were at a cool place last night.
Yeah. We were actually at the Luke Combs bar. I think it's called Category 10, which was it's just cool. I mean, so you do get to see some cool things, and I don't travel a whole lot, but every now and again, you're like, oh.
How did your knee get around at the Gaylord? Because you were staying at the Gaylord, which,
Okay.
if you've never been at a Gaylord, they're massive. I mean, everybody should know what a Gaylord is, but they're just massive hotels that they're like, think of a holodome. Everybody knows what a holodome is. A holodome on nuclear steroids.
Yeah, I mean, they're so large, and you're kind of working on like pebbly, cobblestone, because they look very.
They're little towns and cities inside, kind of.
100%. Yeah, it is. It's like a biodome. You have lots of plants and trees and walkways and fountains and.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's like a mini Disneyland, kind of.
Kind of, all inside.
All inside.
And you just hope you don't get lost. For the first, actually, I was only there 2 days, and I used my map every day. Anyway.
Your map of the hotel?
Yeah, because someone was like, "Oh,
That's funny. To get to the conference, because the conference is ones you got to really get down and around it. It's all the way in the back.
And even to get to my hotel room, I was like,
yeah.
Okay.
After this, we should talk about. I've stayed at that one multiple times for multiple conferences, and I know that one well. So we'll have to. Anyways, it is a maze to get around in, especially the multiple conference rooms back around different levels.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, my physical therapist, I keep talking about how like my knee keeps getting hot. Like
Yeah.
it's physically hot. My other knee is like totally normal temperature. And I asked, she's like, as long as it's not like red and angry looking. And I was like, okay, well, it doesn't look red and angry. I don't really know what that means, but it doesn't look red and angry. Last night, I looked at my knee. I now know what red and angry looks like.
Oh, really?
It did not look good last night. It looks fine today. So I was like, okay, clearly the rest tonight, like when I was sleeping last night is good.
Yeah.
It looks normal today. But I was like, oh, that's angry looking. It was so gross.
Oh, that's interesting. Were you up a lot just walking? I mean, it's obviously, it could be a half mile.
Yeah, I walked a lot the last couple days. It's just
Okay. It's multiple days. It's just getting
multiple days. And
aggravating.
yeah, and it was, I had to do quite a few stairs yesterday.
Oh.
I'm not very good at stairs yet.
Yeah, if you don't go the right way they do have escalators
Yeah.
there, but you have to be, you have multiple ones. Actually, now I'm
Nah.
thinking it through, but
Yeah. Anyway, but it was like stairs onto the bus to go to the place and stairs down the bus and then there were a lot of stairs.
bus stairs are hard too on your knee, I'm sure. Those are big steps.
I know. So someone actually thought though that they're like, oh my gosh, I was wondering why it's so slow. I was like, I just had knee surgery. He's like, oh, I thought maybe you had been overserved. I was like, I haven't had anything to drink. Like, I was like, I
So
had knee surgery.
maybe you should send out an email just as a follow-up. Hey, great to see everybody. There was a mention that someone thought I was overserved last night after seeing me board the bus,
It was getting
going
off-
home at 10 o'clock.
Actually, no, this was at like 6 o'clock. So that's why I was
early.
like,
Yeah.
I don't think the rumor is going to start that I was overserved. Plus, I was, second to last seat, and the only people behind me, I had gone to dinner with the previous night, so they knew all about it. So like, it was only
Yeah.
one person who didn't know, who made the comment like, I thought maybe you were overserved, and I was like,
Yeah. That's a rumor you want to squash, though.
no,
That's pretty
not
funny.
even a little bit.
That's pretty funny. I think the best part of traveling for me is just sitting at the airport, watching people, and just trying not to be annoyed with them. Because in the end, when you travel enough, it's just all the frustrating people that aren't familiar maybe with traveling,
Yeah.
or people that are MIPs, most important people who
Oh, yeah.
just are doing their thing and they don't care about anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hardest part of navigating traveling to me.
Yeah. Yeah. There are a lot of those.
Or you always get stuck by the worst
I
people on the
get-
plane too.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I am not kidding. I had to take a migraine pill in the middle of this flight because the guy next to me smelled so bad.
Yeah.
I have not smelled that smell since college, and it is the college guy smell. All college guys smell the same. They all smell like stale beer and dirty clothing, and like maybe didn't shower for a day or two. So a little bit of greasy hair smell in there.
Paints a picture.
It paints a picture. I'm telling you, all college guys smell like this.
Yeah.
I didn't know you in college. You may be different.
I don't drink beer, so I didn't smell
which
like
is-
beer.
Yeah,
But
it is. It's that like stale beer, and I was just like, oh my gosh, you've been on a bender. You didn't change your clothes, and you certainly didn't shower since last night. And you're sitting next to me.
they always seek you out, especially on the ones. Go ahead.
And someone behind me was eating Chinese food.
Yeah. At least it wasn't reheated salmon or something.
That is the
Only
ironically,
worst one.
That is the only thing worse than Chinese food on an airplane.
Yeah.
Like, do people not know? This is the I'm peeved section. Do they not know the etiquette? Like, there's only certain foods that you can eat on an airplane.
I don't think etiquette exists anymore. People don't care about other people for the most part.
Yeah,
I think the general rule is that now, where
Yeah.
it didn't used to be that way.
yeah.
I think we're in the minority when it comes to that. And I feel that's a soapbox comment on mine. I won't go any further down that road, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of
I get the
That.
worst. And there was a talker behind me. At least they weren't next to me.
a talker.
I was like, oh, I get the worst.
The talkers that can't take the hint,
Oh, yeah.
like they're talking to me with I've got my headphones on or my buds in my ear,
Mm-hmm.
and they're talking. I'm like, and you over exaggerate it, right? Like, oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Let me get this out of my ear
Yes.
because I'm listening to something and not you.
Yes.
But you're talking to me.
Right.
About what now?
Yeah, what did you say?
Oh, no, I don't live here, darling. Nope, I'm going home.
Yep, and you always put the earbud in, like, as you're finishing the
Yeah,
sentence.
I'm going. This is exactly right. I'm going home. And I'll just note here for you that there is no follow-up question from me. I am not volleying back to you.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
pop.
You literally put it in while you finish the statement.
But I've had an old lady like literally tap me on the shoulder even after that, like, here, tap me on the shoulder. Like, I'm like, oh, sorry, I thought I'd made it obvious. I am not a talker. Introvert. I'm tired. I'm grumpy.
Yes.
And I'm listening to something. I have a headphone in my ear.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
But yes, I do fly often.
Yes. Yes,
And
I fly often.
once again, you might note the shortness and maybe the slight curtness of my answer.
Like if you ask me more than 2 questions, like, oh my gosh, yeah, it gets worse. Yeah, by the 3rd question, it's just a 1-word answer to get it over with. Like,
Yeah. You remember that flight that we were on the one time where that guy was getting in a fight on the aisle right next to you?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was scary.
That was super scary.
Was I not sitting? I was sitting
No.
like, there's a one time we've ever not been in the same seats.
I was flying back from my cousin's funeral. You weren't there.
Oh, I wasn't there.
And the guy was drunk and belligerent, and he was cussing up a storm. And the guy sitting, I was on the aisle, no one was in the middle, and then the guy on the window, he wasn't paying any attention to this guy. We're all trying to ignore him, and he was picking fights with people going down the aisle. Well, he also decided to pick a fight with the guy sitting by the window because he was wearing a Cowboys jersey.
Yeah.
I mean, the man was just sitting there.
Well, that's fair.
And, I mean, say what you will about the Cowboys. Like, there's no reason to get on a plane and start, like, cussing up someone and, like, trying to pick a fight. And the guy wouldn't bite. And he's like, okay, man, And he was escorted. I mean, we were grounded until they called the cops to escort him off the plane. And he was standing right next to me.
Was I on the phone with you or you were texting
I was
me or
texting
something?
you
Because
going,
he was like leaning
"I'm scared."
over you.
Yeah, I'm scared. He's right next to me, and he is screaming at the top of his lungs and cussing, and
Right.
I was scared.
Right. That's
was
crazy.
Terrible.
Ugh, man. The one time I'm not there, that also frustrates me a little bit that I wasn't there.
Yeah.
To at least, get knocked out in front of you and then
You're my
glass
hero.
jaw.
Yeah.
You're my hero. Someone help my husband.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Because I was the only thing between I mean, he was out of his mind.
Yeah.
Drunk.
Well, you always those are always the fun Vegas flights back, right? There was a time we owned a company in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
And so we'd fly back and forth a little bit, and we kind of got used to, unfortunately, those early morning flights, people stay up all night drinking, they get on the flight.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I can remember a few of those, just belligerent people yelling from the back, and talk about smelling,
Oh.
being up all night, sweating, having, running around the strip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Throwing up in the back of the plane. Those are bad ones. They had bags on that one. They were thrown up into a bag.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, we took a turn here. Let's take another turn somewhere else that's
Yeah.
more fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of airplanes, this is here's a fun fact for everybody. You know that game? It's like, give me 3 facts about yourself.
Yeah.
That 2 truths and a lie.
Yeah.
Well, I've got quite a few of these that could be lies, right?
Yeah.
But are truths. And one of the ones I always put on here, so now I can't use it with everybody, but my grandfather, who flew a plane, he was in the Navy, I believe. He was a very skilled pilot, but he had a little kind of single engine plane that we used to get around on when I was young and even when I was a little bit older. But I was in a plane crash. He actually had an emergency landing. So it wasn't a crash. We didn't, nosedive into the ground or anything like that. And I don't remember it because I was a baby. But my mom told me about it. And it's one of the ones I always use, that I was in a plane crash, because I was. The landing gear didn't come out. He did a flyby the tower to do a check. He said, "Is my landing gear down?" And they're like, "Negative, no landing gear." So he had to do a belly. He had to land on the belly, which takes a little bit of skill to do right.
Yeah.
And, not flip the plane and not catch on fire. And
Yeah.
So we skidded off. It was snowy too, so maybe that helped or didn't help. I don't know, but yeah, landed on the belly. Skidded off the runway, but everybody was good. Yeah.
It is that's a super cool story.
Kind of, yeah. I wish I knew more about it, but I wish I was a little bit older than I remembered it too. But it's always one of those fun, two lies and whatever. So I was in a plane. I survived a plane crash.
You survived a plane crash.
That's how I say it. Is that a crash? That's a crash landing. It's a crash landing. So
Yeah.
I don't think I'm stretching anything there.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe semantics, but I think it's totally fine.
Yeah.
It's a really cool one.
What's one of yours?
For my 2 truths and a lie,
Yeah.
that I have actually pet a full-grown male lion.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
You told me that one before.
Yeah. Weird night. Like, I don't know what else to say.
I think there's a movie about that. Weird night is how you sum that up.
It was such a strange.
That was fantastic.
It was my roommate at the time. This is after college, and she was like, yeah, my cousin who, sometimes you have people who are really good, just family friends, and you call them cousins or aunts and uncles or whatever. So she was like, this person in her life fell into that bucket. And he was like, so she called him her cousin. She's like, he's having a housewarming party. Do you want to come with me? I was like, sure. I mean, it was a long ways away and like 2 hours, right? But he had just built this house. So he was having a housewarming party. Invited the entire town.
Oh, wow.
And he had lions, 2 adult lions, 3 Bengal tigers, hyenas.
Oh, you should have said bear, lions, tigers, and...
I wish I could, but there actually were no bears. There was a baby black panther.
Mm.
And then, horses. And there was some snake, I think. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm like, and they were all in these chain link cages. And I'm like, I've never seen this on a residential property. Most people probably haven't.
I assumed it was a small town, and he invited like the 38 people that lived there.
Yeah, it was near Menominee, Wisconsin.
Okay.
So, I mean, small town by...
Everybody's familiar with Menominee, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's just north of Oshkosh.
If you know, you know, right? I mean, we're not talking DFW, but we're also not talking the town my mom grew up in.
Right.
Somewhere in the middle.
Right.
Anyway, yeah. And so this lion was rubbing his face on the chain link fence, and they're like, oh, he wants you to pet him. And I was like, so what finger don't I need? And I stuck my pinky through the chain link fence, and I scratched his nose.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I didn't remember that part of it, that you scratched his nose with your pinky.
I did, because his face is right there, and I was like, what else am I going to do? What finger don't I need?
That's crazy close, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I got to feed the baby Black Panther.
No, it was a baby?
It was a baby. It was really cute.
That's cool.
But
all this totally illegal.
100%.
Yeah.
There is not okay. And this was before Tiger King.
I was gonna say, wouldn't it be funny if that was the actual Tiger King, but before he relocated to Oklahoma?
Louisiana, I don't know. We didn't really watch much Tiger King. Anyway, yeah, and so this guy apparently was the original Tiger King, but not. Yeah. He didn't get any of the glory.
Lions and tigers and hyenas.
Hyenas.
Yeah.
I honestly, to this day, I'm like, was that just a dream?
Yeah.
Because it was weird.
Well, that's good. I love that. Wow. Since we have so many viewers, obviously, comment below on some of yours.
Yes.
We'll get through them.
Yeah.
Lots and lots
Smash
of.
that like button.
Smash that like button. Yeah, we'll get through the comments. There's so many of them. That's a huge Sorry, dang, I hate when I do ums. That was a bad transition, though. But I was going to ask, happy Mother's Day to everybody. That was this last Sunday.
Yeah.
So happy Mother's Day. Hope everybody had a good one. How was yours?
It was good.
Yeah.
It was really good. I did have a chance while I was traveling this week to go out with some moms. We went out for dinner on one of the nights. And all of us being moms, and we all talked about the timing of having to leave the day after Mother's Day kind of impeded Mother's Day, because I think sometimes...
I hated traveling on Mondays because my Sunday, it bled into Sunday thinking about my travel on Monday.
Yeah. Well, and I'm trying to prepare because I knew how crazy it was for you, and I knew what your schedule was going to be like without me. So I'm like, let me try to make you some dinner so you don't even have to think about that. Let me
Yeah,
make
there's
sure
just some extra activities this week that makes it an even crazier week
Yeah.
down a parent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, but it was good. It was relaxing. I still want to watch the end of that James Bond movie. We couldn't even finish the James Bond movie.
Yeah. I don't know how we didn't see that in the first place.
Yeah.
I started watching. I'm like, I haven't seen this.
Yeah, I knew we hadn't.
Yeah, those are good. Those are good movies.
Good flicks. Yeah. I think the kids are liking them.
Yeah. Well, we had a soccer game on that day.
Yep.
And we made the comment too, like, I mean, obviously it's an hour over there because we don't play anywhere close to our house every time we have a game.
Never.
And, you know, we skipped an 8 a.m. practice that was scheduled like 4 days beforehand. A Saturday, Sunday, 8 a.m., an hour away practice for our youngest son's team. Like, come on, coach, love you, but come on. That's
Like
Mother's
Mother's
Day.
Day?
Yeah, like we're dedicated, but not that dedicated.
Like, that's just mean
Sorry.
to all the moms.
So we skipped that one.
Yeah.
But that's why I was bringing this up because we still are soccer moms. You know, it's like the soccer world. So we still had a game that day for our oldest son, which is an hour away. You have to be there an hour before so they can warm up.
Yep.
Then it's an hour and a half of game time, and then it's an hour back home. So it's a lot of hours.
It's a lot of hours.
But the people we played had to drive up from Austin.
When you said that, I actually felt bad for complaining.
Yeah.
I felt really bad.
Yeah. So they threw in an extra 4 hours of drive time
Mm-hmm.
on top of the drive time, the 2 hours that we have of drive time.
Right. Right.
So,
I was like, yeah, that's commitment.
and I think that was 2:30, right? We finished that game-ish.
Yeah.
So they're getting home, showered, 7 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
basically just getting ready for the next day.
Yeah. And it's like, and that's Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is part of being a parent, I think. I actually, because I so enjoy watching the kids play, practices are different for me. But because I like to watch them play soccer, like, I don't mind going to a game on Mother's Day. It's just part of being a mother.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
part of that experience.
The only other one I would compare to that soccer annoys me on, there's always a tournament on our 3-day weekends.
Always.
Every time. So we never get 3-day weekends because there's always a tournament.
Yeah.
They're like, what's a 3-day weekend what's a holiday that we can put a tournament on? It's just how the soccer world works.
Yeah.
But
Of course, those are always the ones that your kids go the farthest, and so you have to play a million games on to Monday night, right?
yeah. I mean, we love it, but I mean, this is part of it, right?
Yeah.
But the one that annoys me the most is Super Bowl Sunday because there's generally not a tournament.
You're
It's just
right.
regularly scheduled league play. And they'll have games at like 5 p.m. on a Super Bowl Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, I mean, how do you, that's a holiday for the United States.
Right.
Like,
Right.
maybe the last one's at 1 o'clock, right?
Sure. If it's a 9 a.m. game on Super Bowl Sunday, okay.
Sure.
We're up anyway. It's fine.
Right.
But yeah, we did this year, and I think I don't know. I think the two teams were playing chicken to see which team was going to cancel first. But yeah, it was like at 5 p.m.
That's right, because everybody was like, because we have to there's an app for it. You have to actually click whether you're going to be there or not. It's
Yep.
yes, no, or maybes. And so I think we played a little bit of chicken. We were playing chicken on that one too. We
Yeah.
didn't want to put no, but we didn't want to put yes on that yet.
Yeah.
And so it was one of those things where I think, we weren't the only parents that did it, but there was enough question
Yeah.
that parents didn't say, yes, we're going to be there at this 5 o'clock game, that the coach didn't want to be like, well, I might cancel it because I might not have enough kids. And it's like, well, that's up to you, coach. If you want to cancel, we'll understand,
Yeah.
But there were still enough people that were saying yes that don't care, I guess, or they're all in,
Right.
because their kid's going professional next year. They're
Well, yeah.
11-year-old next year.
11-year-old
right?
going straight to Premier League.
That's right. Or I think they're going overseas, Man U or
Isn't that
Barcelona.
Premier League.
Oh, it is. You're right. I totally was thinking MLS when you said that for whatever reason. Yeah. You're
We're
right.
not.
You're right. I'm wrong. Anyways, we were playing chicken with that. He was too, because nobody wanted to cancel, but I don't think anybody had an intention of playing that
I
game.
don't think anyone did.
And so finally, I think the other team did flinch first, didn't they?
I think
Because literally, it's a L for them, right? Because they conceded the game to us, basically.
Which is why you don't want to be the one to cancel.
Which is why you don't want to be the one to cancel. Yeah.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah. And, we are. feel like we are so dedicated to soccer. Or any sport for that matter. I mean, track is the same way. We'll go out to freezing track meets or scalding hot track meets.
Yeah.
But every now and again, I feel like there should be some type of protected time. Like there are certain things where it's like, that's just a hard no. And that should be okay. That shouldn't be where your the judgment of your commitment should lie in those moments. It's like, I don't know.
And I think we built the credibility on that, though, right? We attend 99% of everything. So that the ones that we don't, like when I texted the coach on Saturday saying we're not going to be there on Sunday. Sorry, we have family plans.
Yeah.
It's Mother's Day. It's just kind of like an FYI in case you didn't know. It's Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day.
Yeah, but
kids might.
But there was no problem. You know what I mean? Because we do hit most. But I think if you miss a lot, you would be judged.
Yeah.
That would be an issue in this.
Right.
In this culture that we live in.
Yeah. For sure. So that's one of those things, especially since I was leaving the next day and I wouldn't get to see the kids for really 2.5 days.
Yeah.
I really do want to spend Mother's Day with them.
Yep.
And I can't wait to see their little faces tonight.
No, you haven't seen them yet. It's been a while.
I know.
I'm gonna go pick them up here in just a few. So
I know.
With that in mind, what do we got? We got the closing here.
We got the closing.
We should mention our middle daughter. I always say middle daughter. Our middle child, who is a daughter, but
Yeah, she's actually her only daughter. So yeah, I guess.
And her only, yeah. So she had her first kind of track meet now in club season. We've been practicing since last August with no track season, other than a few track meets at her school. Which is just probably a different competition level. Although she did have some good competition at one of the schools.
Really good.
Which was great. So we'll probably head to head with her, with that girl and some of those girls on that team for the next few years. So that'll be fun. But she ran in her first. This is the 1 minute of bragging on the kids, right? She ran in her first track meet, which unfortunately you weren't there because you were at a soccer game.
I was, yep.
But she ran against 13 and 14-year-olds. She's 13.
Yep.
So the age bracket was 13, 14-year-olds. And she got first place. And she killed it. And she got a time that qualifies. So now she has 2 qualifying times for the Nike outdoor meet, which is in Oregon. And we're learning about this. So we thought, if you qualify, you're in. That's not it. You got to qualify, and then you got to be accepted for it.
Yep.
Because obviously they want to bring, good
best
talent there, right? It's so, and you can't have 1 million people there. So I don't know how that. I still don't even know how that works to this day. But she got accepted. It's a long story short. Yeah. So super excited. She's gonna be running the 100-yard dash and the 200-yard dash.
Yeah.
At the Nike Outdoors.
Yep.
Later this summer.
Yeah. It was
in Oregon.
In Oregon. I mean, couldn't be more proud of her. And just how strong she was on Saturday when she had to go into that meet.
Good point.
Like, we actually entered the meet to be like, hey, let's get you used to that track meet vibe, so it's not a really new experience for you. You're going to have a lot of meets coming up. Let's just get used to it. You may qualify, you may not, but you need a time. But she had played 2 soccer games that morning, got beat up in those soccer games. I mean,
2 soccer games that morning.
2 soccer
which
games.
We dropped her off for at 6:45 a.m.
Yeah.
Right. And I did an Instagram post on it. That probably didn't do it justice, but she got beat up in those 2 soccer games.
Yeah.
Hit to the ground. She's got turf burns.
Oh, yeah.
And then she had to turn around, get her attitude right. After they didn't lose all season and they lost in the championship game. And I don't want to put a caveat there, but 5 of our club players, 5 of our starters weren't there all Saturday,
right?
Let alone even in. So they won the semifinals game without them.
Yep.
But in the finals game, the other team, from what I understand, their club players were there.
Yep.
And they destroyed us. I mean,
they did.
It would have been a fun game to watch if we had our full team there, right?
Yep.
And the girls that were there played their butts off.
They did.
They played their hearts out.
Yep.
And that was a tough loss for them because they hadn't lost all year. So I would have loved to have seen that game head to head.
Yeah.
I'll stop there.
Yeah.
Because it was just frustrating to watch the celebrations of their team, just knowing there's a huge asterisk on that.
There's an asterisk there.
But whatever.
Anyway, yeah.
Then, so she had to pick herself off that and go straight to this meet where she needed a time. She had to get, we were trying to get a time.
Yes.
And there's other kids there too that were trying to get times for their events that didn't get it.
Yeah.
So these aren't gimmies. It's not just you gotta run, you gotta hang a time up and then you get in. No, you have to qualify at a certain level.
Yeah.
Because they're not just gonna let anybody in.
Right.
And so she got it her first time. That was her first time ever running an individual 200-yard or 200-meter dash.
Yeah, she'd never done it.
Right. So she's got it. So now she's qualified in the 100 and the 200, which is awesome. And I mean, it's so fun watching. And just the way she runs, because running is much more technical than I ever thought it was.
Oh, yeah.
So the way that they've taught her to run, I mean, these young girls that know and have been taught technically correct how, including our daughter, I mean, they look like Olympian athletes the way they run. It's incredible how they do it.
It's so cool. So I'm excited to give her a hug now that we know she's officially accepted into the Nike meet.
And officially a National Honor Society.
Which
we're probably more proud of.
That is just such a huge accomplishment. Like,
very proud of all of our kids. They're all doing really well. So I know that's not what people want this.
We just brag.
What this to be about. We could talk about we could have a whole nother one. Our kids are the greatest. That'll be the name. Your kids suck. That's going to be the name of our. That's how all parents feel, right, about their kids.
Yes.
So our next podcast will just be your kids suck. Our kids are better. Yeah, and we'll just talk about our kids the whole time.
Should we call it like Nana and a Boo Boo?
Nana a Boo Boo.
Yeah. There we go.
I love it. All right. Well, we got to go. We're getting long. We got to go pick up the kids, actually.
Yep.
And I'm just kidding. We don't think our kids are better. We just love them, and we're blessed.
Yeah.
We're proud of everybody's kids. We'll put that out there. We try to be, modest and have some.
Yeah. And hope everyone listening takes time to really enjoy and brag on their kids too. Because it's.
Please do.
And
brag to us about it, because we love to hear about other people's kids too.
Right.
I mean, it's not just about us.
Because, you always want to be surrounded by people who are doing really cool, inspirational things. And when you see other kids that are doing those inspirational things, you want your kid around them so that they have that community of just...
Or just supporting their kid. I mean, not everybody's kids are getting blue ribbons.
Well,
there are kids that are getting ribbons that are... I don't know. I got all blue ribbons, so I don't know what other ribbons...
You don't know any
colors
other
come in.
Yeah.
But there are other people that have that, and we want to support those kids too.
Right. Well, because ultimately, isn't it about...
How's that for modesty?
I love that.
Too funny.
Isn't it about your...
There's the alarm to say go pick up the kids.
Oh, okay.
But we are coming to close.
Yes.
And we're going to say our words.
Yes. All right. Are you ready?
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Relieved.
Summer.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Because I was going to go with anticipation.
Okay. That's a good one.
And I'm like...
You're relieved to be home.
I'm relieved. And this past weekend, there was a lot going on. It was kind of a...
And this week still.
Still, there's a lot going on. So it's there is a sense of relief to have some of the big things behind us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That is true. And summer is similar, right?
Yep.
You're looking behind, you're relieved that it's behind us, and I'm just looking right around the corner.
Yeah.
Next week is school's out.
Summer
begins.
That's what I was going to say, anticipation. So,
anticipation for summer, yeah.
I was going between those two.
Kind of same thought process, though.
But it was same, yeah.
Yeah.
I am excited for summer.
Yeah.
I'm excited I always look forward to the kids being home and just the easier schedule, right? It's not the alarm goes off 5:45 and you are, out. You're just going.
Yep,
and it's
bull out of a gun.
Yeah. And then you're like, okay, it's 11 o'clock at night and I haven't sat down.
Yep. Yeah.
So, anyway.
All right. Well, let's sign off then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Until next week.
All right. Have a great week. Thank you.
Bye.